Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Quarry. Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to News 360 and it's live money news up here at this hour in Uganda. My name is Alfredo Kansi.
And I am Solis Rose Quarty. Top of the bulletin this hour. The Food and Drugs Authority rounds up 20 illegal and fake drug manufacturers as well as unlicensed sexual enhancement drug distributors in a dawn swoop in parts of Accra.
Also, immediate past Director General of the National Communications Authority, William Tevi, and 4 others charged for causing financial loss to the state.
Now, the minority in Parliament asks the Minister of Special Development Initiatives, Mavis Hawakumsin, to resign following a submission of a bloated budget. In a sharp response, she says she is ready to resign.
Also in business tonight, sale of livestock booms ahead of Yuletide.
On the international front, Israel expresses disappointment over Ghana's decision to back UN resolution not to recognize Jerusalem as capital of the country. We have all these details shortly.
So let's bring you some business news and some sports and entertainment as we go on in the bulletin tonight here on News 360. Our first story this evening, the immediate past Director General of the National Communications Authority, William Tevi, and 4 others have been charged for causing financial loss to the state. The 5 accused persons are facing charges of conspiracy to willfully causing financial loss to the state, where millions of dollars spent on listening devices.
3 out of the 5 accused persons appeared at an Accra High Court charged with 16 other charges. The accused persons pleaded not guilty to the charges when the Attorney General Gloria Kufu read the facts of the case and their plea taken. Justice Eric Che Bafo granted the 3 accused persons bail to the tune of $1 million each, with 3 sureties, and are to surrender their passports to the registrar of the court. According to the state, former board chairman Eugene Bafuboni, Director General William Tevi, former Deputy National Coordinator Nalaji Osman were aided by a private citizen, George Opon, to engage in the act that led to the financial loss. The state said the previous government contracted an Israeli company, NSO Technology Limited, to supply listening equipment at the cost of $6 million for the authority to monitor conversations of persons suspected to be engaged in terror activities. Sitting resumes on Tuesday, January 9.
Now, members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association are considering an industrial action next week over allegations that Comptroller and Accountant General is reducing their salaries. According to the members, most of them have had more than 30% of their salaries reduced, which has compelled the national leadership to drag Comptroller to court.
Clockstack filed the legal suit against Comptroller over what it says that most of its members have been shortchanged. It stated that more of its members have had their salaries reduced by more than 30%, affecting their incomes. It again explained that the salary distortions have resulted in simmering tension among its front, which could lead to labor agitations. Currently, the Industrial and Labor Court has scheduled January 9, 2018 for the ruling. Executive Secretary of Clockstack, Isaac Bampuado, has asked government to act swiftly or face their wrath.
After many years of appeals and protestations without any possible results, Clockstack had no option than to file a suit at the Human Rights Division of the Accra High Court with the Comptroller and Accountant General, the Head of Civil Service, and the Attorney General as defendants. We expect that the court will pronounce judgment soon and what members will be informed about the verdict.
Attempts to get Controller Accountant General was unsuccessful. In another development, the association was worried that activities by multinationals in some sectors of the economy have affected the revenue generation of government. It explained that most of these multinationals have failed to honor their tax obligations, creating a huge revenue gap.
Take this opportunity to draw attention to various tax exemptions, especially to multinational companies that invariably deny government of substantial revenues that could be plowed back into development projects. CLOSAC fully supports the tax justice initiative of the Public Services International affiliates in Ghana.
Meanwhile, CLOSAC has organized a ceremony to thank God for its benevolence and kindness throughout the year. The Thanksgiving service was to also implore God for a more effective and productive 2018.
All right, so victims of the Paibo Stone Quarry blast in 2015, then some Addo municipality have issued 3 months ultimatum to government to compensate them and prosecute the owner of the quarry. At a news conference, leader of the victims, Mark Dompre Amwako, said they will take a drastic action if their grievances are not addressed.
Residents of Piabo and surrounding communities in the Nsawamaduejiri municipality were on December 23, 2015 struck by explosion of dynamite negligently kept in a container in the area by a private developer. 1 person died and several homes running into millions of cedis were destroyed. Residents are yet to recover from the shock barely 2 years after. When the news team visited the community Thursday morning, we noticed most of the victims have abandoned their homes. The National Disaster Management Organization registered 354 affected buildings destroyed by the explosion. We were told funds to renovate their homes is a major challenge since compensation from parties involved have not been forthcoming. Affected residents are unhappy justice has not been served.
We as residents of the area are demanding justice. If within 3 months from this press conference we do not see any action from the government, we will have no choice but to seek legal action against the AK1 Mining Company, Piabo Quarry, Minerals Commission, the Ministry of Interior, and the Ghana Police Service, and other agencies if need be, for negligence of duty.
Now, the registrar of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, Perry Ofosu, has debunked stories circulating in the media that the rector of the institute has been asked to proceed on leave by the council. Now, he says Dr. Wilberforce Gisa voluntarily asked to take part of his annual leave from Wednesday, December 27, and will resume on February 1, 2018.
Some reports in the media suggested that the rector of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, Dr. Wilberforce Gisa, had been asked to proceed on leave by the governing council of the institute as a 4-member committee was investigating issues concerning procurement under his tenure. The reports also indicated the committee is also probing the academic integrity of Dr. Gisa as well as some other management members of the school. The investigation is said to have started on Monday, December 18, following several petitions filed with chairperson of the council, Professor Ansu Chireme, against the rector. The registrar of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, who also doubles as the secretary of the 4-member committee, said petitions were sent to the council by some staff members of the school against the rector, which he said necessitated the setting up of the investigative committee.
The rector is going on leave voluntarily as part of his normal leave. And it has nothing to do with whatever the council was doing. So that is where the matter ends.
He stressed the council would have still gone ahead with its investigations without Dr. Gisa taking part of his annual leave, ruling out any political witch hunting.
One of the things that the committee is supposed to be doing is to suggest ways of, correcting any administrative errors and so forth that might have been taking place for which some people are bitter.
He also said nowhere in the release statement by the council was the rector accused of indulging in procurement infractions or academic dishonesty. The committee is supposed to submit its report on January 15, 2018.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has asked the Operation Vanga team not to heed to allegations against them. He's charged them to remain resolute in stopping the illegal mining operations in the eastern region.
President Akufo-Addo met the Operation Vanga team at their base at Afosu in the Birim North District of the Eastern Region. He acknowledged the Operation Vanga team had made impact with its activities in the midst of inadequate logistics and funding, and pledged to do all within his means to resource them.
All kinds of people are going to be saying all kinds of things about the work you're doing, about you yourselves, and about the work you're doing. Please, do not let any of that demoralize you. Don't let any of that get to you. You're doing work which is the most important for the future of our country. Just remember that. The work you're doing is about Ghana. It's not about yourselves, it's not about me. It's about our country and its future.
The president acknowledged people had interest in the illegal mining and galamsey business.
The whole country is looking at you now. Not just the country, the continent of Africa. Because what you're doing is not being done anywhere else on this continent. It's always in Ghana we're the first in these things. But when we are the first, we're also the best. And in you, we have the men who are showing that, yes, Ghana, we can produce the people for every occasion.
He again emphasized at the Deba at Afosu that he would not stop the exercise.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, has warned Controller and Accountant General to urgently pay the outstanding salary arrears or risk a nationwide strike in the first week of January 2018. According to its General Secretary, David Ofori-Champong, most of their members have had 3 months outstanding arrears despite going through the teacher validation exercise.
According to NAT, most of its members who undertook the teacher validation exercise have had their arrears not paid. It explained that some have about 3 months outstanding arrears despite undertaking the teacher validation exercise. NAT revealed that the controller issued a 48-hour ultimatum for all teachers to register with the electronic voucher system, but the association argued that most of its members are scattered around the country and could not register within 48 hours. This compelled controller to suspend their salaries. But months after going through the registration exercise, the controller is yet to restore and pay their arrears. General Secretary of NAT is unhappy about the development.
If you send a message to a teacher in my village, in my hometown, and the network, it doesn't go through, it is not possible that even the message can go through unless he comes to an area where there's connectivity. So do you have to punish that individual because the facility that is supposed to transmit the business is not working when the person had been at post? We have raised this issue severally with the Controller Accountant General, and it's like they don't care. When the time comes, they would care.
Going into 2018, the association implored members to be more productive for better salaries.
The same level of commitment we put into our religious activities, we should put into our social life as Ghanaians and work as Ghanaians. And I believe that if that commitment sinks into our hearts and we do diligently, Ghana will be better for all of us.
Meanwhile, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union ICU has called on government to ensure that it reduces utility tariffs as promised.
If labor, employer, and government is there, and government can only walk to PUS and say reduce by these margins and they will, then labor, and then employer can also go and say, look, me too, I cannot bear all this one, do something about it. We think that bit was not helpful.
General Secretary Solomon Kotei again called on governments to properly revamp existing factories before embarking on the One District, One Factory program.
If existing factories that have actually carried the employment economy on their shoulders are being supervised to their demise, then you promise me a new one to come. The thing is in your mouth, you have not finished chewing it, and you want to put more into it. What then happens? We've drawn government attention that those strategic factories must be looked at.
Let's go to Parliament. Now, the Member of Parliament for the Tema East constituency, Carlos Ahenkra, has rendered an unqualified apology to the Member of Parliament for the North Tong constituency, Samuel Okojeto Ablakwa, for the derogatory words he used on him. But the former Minister for Education insists he would only accept the apology if he listens to it and it's really sincere. Meanwhile, he has asked his lawyers to hold on to the decision to sue Carlos Ahenkra for defamation.
I was probably more aggressive, and I think that I wouldn't mince words. I should apologize to the whole of Ghana, the people of Ghana, for what happened. It shouldn't happen. I apologize to the institution of Parliament as far as you're concerned, because this is a house of honorable people, and what happened shouldn't have happened. Then, of course, my own brother, if you like, from another mother, being honorable people in the same house, we could have contained each other and not let words fly out of our mouths. I apologize unconditionally, and I say that let's let bygones be bygones.
For now, I would want to listen to it first. I would want to have the leadership of the House, the Speaker, and my lawyers all listen to it. And because the matters he raised are grave matters, we have to be clear in our minds. Very grave matters. If it is that I was stealing all through my education, it's criminal. It means all my certificates have to be withdrawn, which may even affect my membership of this House. So these are not matters that you take lightly. We must listen to exactly what he has said. If indeed he's recounting, if he's apologizing unconditionally, if that is also the view of the Speaker, of the leadership, and of the general public, we will be willing to forgive and move on. But clearly, if it doesn't meet these standards, as I told you at the meeting this morning, I showed copies of the writ which my lawyers are ready with to file. But we had to show respect to the Speaker. In deference to the Speaker, we decided to hold on and wait for the Speaker's intervention. So if it doesn't meet the standards, and if he's adamant to retract, then we will have to proceed with what we need to do to defend my good name. That I have no choice because of the gravity of the things he said.
Now, 20 illegal and fake drug manufacturers, as well as unlicensed sexual enhancement drug distributors, have been rounded up in a dawn soup in parts of Accra. Now, the joint FDA and police operation also retrieved a number of fake, substandard and unlicensed drugs at Adabraka Sahara and Kwame Nkrumah Circle.
These were some of the struggles the team faced in their attempt to apprehend the recalcitrant fake drug manufacturers and traders. The operation, according to the Food and Drugs Authority, was after months of surveillance on the manufacturers who distributed illegal and fake drugs. This makeshift compound at Adabraka Sahara was the first port of call around 4:30 Friday morning. After combing the area, the team broke into a room which occupants vacated through a back door but were pursued and arrested. But that led to the brewery of the fake drugs. The team discovered a huge pot left on fire overnight containing a herbal concoction. Beside it was a black polythene bag containing the residual of an earlier prepared drugs. Further search found varying sizes of bottle concoction similar to the one inside the boiling pot and other materials believed to be used in preparing the concoction. The team proceeded to the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, where a number of people engaged in sex-enhancing drugs were arrested.
We believe that these herbal medicines are laced with orthodox medicines. If these medicines are concealed in herbal preparations like we have here, they become even more dangerous.
But how far does the FDA intend to take this fight?
We are not just cramping on them because of the Yuletide. It is a constant program that we do, going down to these places to arrest peddlers.
Emmanuel Yao appealed to the public to support the fight against fake drugs by reporting the slightest suspicion to them or the police. All the suspects and their products have been taken to the police CID headquarters for further investigation and prosecution.
Let's still stay with the FDA because they're cautioning the public to be mindful of food items purchased on the market during the festive season. Chief Regulatory Officer and Head of Food Enforcement Department at the Food and Drugs Authority, Nana Addo Johnson, in an interview said they would act firmly to protect the health and safety of Ghanaians.
Some retailers and importers sell unwholesome products to the unsuspecting consumers during the festive season, causing serious health problems. Some of them are sold at highly discounted prices, whilst others are running a buy one get one free promotion. Speaking in an interview with TV3, Chief Regulatory Officer and Head of Food Enforcement Department at the Food and Drugs Authority, Nana Addo Johnson, said any breach of the Public Health Act would not be tolerated. The warning comes amidst the usually high patronage of goods during the festive season. She urged consumers to take the trouble to look at the labels and expiry dates on all products before buying them.
We are expecting that the public will help us to, food safety is a collective responsibility. We expect the general public to give us some information whenever they hear that some people are engaged in some unscrupulous activities and all that. And also consumers are supposed to read the labels of the products they buy. So some of the structures that the FDA has put in is the intensification of the market surveillance.
She called for an end to the practice where goods were displayed in the open and exposed excessively to heat from the sun. She further indicated that the FDA is committed to sanitizing the market by getting rid of all unwholesome food items as Christmas approaches.
We have intensified our public education, more consumer education. If there is a product being sold at half the price or a third of the original price, what you have to think of is, why is someone selling it at such a price? It means that it's getting close to the expiry or the best before date.
Well, members of parliament are divided on whether or not Minister for Special Development Initiatives Mavis Hawakumsin should resign, whereas the minority is asking the Minister of Special Development Initiatives Mavis Hawakumsin to resign. The majority leader, Oseiche Mensah-Bonsu, insists the minister must stay in office. This follows allocations of 1 billion cedis for the ministry's website and other initiatives they want to implement in the ensuing year.
What the minister and the government they are trying to do is to do an emergency landing. They are struggling. This is just a damage control. What we considered at the committee, in fact, I can give you copies of the document that we were given at the committee, and it's clear. It is 800,000, certainly not 80,000. So is the minister telling me that he's such an incompetent lady to the extent that she couldn't even read and understand what is in her own document, and she brought it to the Parliament House for us to look at it? This is gross incompetence. I don't think that she even deserves to occupy the highest office as a Minister of State. She should go immediately. She doesn't qualify to occupy that office.
The Minister of Finance was also expected to provide us with the areas of application of the ABFA, the annual budget funding amount, that is from the petroleum revenues. He also defaulted in doing that. Did anybody ask them to resign? The Speaker would urge us, please, let's approve of it, and later they will come. Let's be consistent, as I always tell my colleagues. But going forward, I think we should be much more diligent. Members of Parliament should be much more diligent. If the 80 was the figure that was there, the members should have done the adding up, and it would have shown at the committee level that there was a mistake.
Meanwhile, speaking to journalists in Parliament, the Special Development Initiative Minister, Hawa Kumsin, has said she is ready to resign following the revelations that her 2018 budget is inflated. The minister has since said the website charge is an error as the budget is only 80,000 Ghana cedis. The minority has rejected the explanation and branded her as incompetent.
So you hear from me. I'm not ready. The minorities also calling for resignation. No problem. I'll resign for them. Can we speak? Please, what's your problem? I'm not ready to talk to you. What is it?
I'm not going.
You are saying that I'll get back to you. You are still following me with issues. Everybody are reporting me. And then say,
Now you hear the Minister for the Special Development Initiative. And now this is the budget that is in contention here. We're going to take a keener look at some of the areas that have actually raised particular concern. Let's look at number 3 on the budget. We have the construction of solar-powered mechanized borehole. That's a quantity of 1,000. And then we're looking at a unit cost of 132,000 Ghana cedis. That's for one, which will translate into 132 million Ghana cedis. Now let's look at number 9. Number 9 is for the procurement of four-wheel drives. Procurement of four-wheel drives, and we're looking at 8.6 million Ghana cedis. Let's go ahead and look at some other ones. Number 13, we're looking at the procurement of office furniture and fixtures. That is about 6.5 million Ghana cedis. Let's look at 18. Number 18, which is the procurement of computers and accessories, 1.5 million Ghana cedis. Now, to the one that particularly raised concern and social media outrage, we're looking at number 26. That's the development of a website that we heard the minister saying that it was an error, but it's basically supposed to cost 800,000 cedis. At least that's what we have on the budget, but we're hearing that she's saying that it's actually supposed to be 80,000 cedis and that it is an error. So that's just basically taking a closer look at the entire budget, and we're looking at a total of 1,010,239,700 Ghana cedis. So that is the Ministry of Special Development Initiative budget for the year 2018. Over to you, Alfred.
Well, clearly, the minorities say they are not very satisfied with that particular explanation. That is a typographical error.
Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for us to find out what's trending in the world of business. And the festive occasions such as Christmas always comes with a boom in business and trading activities. Now, with just a few days to Christmas, livestock traders are in the North Industrial Area and Kwame Nkrumah Circle are experiencing high patronage. They say they are hoping to cash in on the season to make up for the poor sales they experienced during the year.
This one, 550 last, 600.
For almost 20 years, Sadiq Haruna has been working as a middleman, transporting livestock from Burkina Faso and northern Ghana to Accra. Here at their base near the new plant station at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, he says business for this year's Christmas is booming as he has already sold 8 goats today and by evening expecting to sell 20 more. He said prices of the goods have increased as the ones that were being sold at 250 and 300 cedis last year now cost 300 and 350 respectively.
I sell 1 500 and 5 300 and the 2 1 350 1 250.
Haruna and his men do not only sell livestock but also offer slaughtering services as well. It was not long that buyers began trooping in with requests for their purchased livestock to be slaughtered for them. The environment was not the best, but hygienic compared with other slaughtering places. Over here, they use LPG gas instead of car ties. The butchers say they charge between 30 and 40 cedis for each slaughter. David Abwaji, who is waiting for his goats to be slaughtered, said he has come to buy and kill here because of the way they handle the carcass. Seth also expressed similar sentiments, adding he requested that the intestines should be added. He waited patiently, supervising.
Yeah, everything is fine. The ground and the way they are washing the goat, I think it's okay. That's why I'm coming here to buy. I don't want them to cut it in the pieces. So I want them to just remove the inside this thing. Then they will put it back for me.
Soon the burning was done and the dressing began. His request was honored. The intestines were added and the carcass was packaged. Seth walked away a happy man to enjoy Christmas. My Paul Soa, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, Accra.
Now on to some banking news. The Universal Merchants Bank is to roll out mobile banking from next year to meet the needs of its customers. The service, when made operational, is expected to reduce the turnaround time for customers. The Chief Executive Officer of UMB, Johnny Wa, is confident this would attract more investment for the company.
The bank held a festival of 9 lessons and carols as part of its end-of-year activities. The ninth was to also commemorate the 45th anniversary celebrations of the Universal Merchant Bank, UMB.
All is calm and all is bright.
The event rewarded outstanding workers and other staff for contributing to the success of the bank. Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Johnny Wa, was elated the bank exceeded its customer expectations and targets for 2017. He assured that the public-private partnership policy has fostered growth within the banking industry.
Since we set up the UMB PPP Incubator Center, we've started handling significant volumes of transactions, working with the government, the ministries, departments, and agencies of state to first build on the solution that we provided, and second, to also help create an environment where, as a financial institution, we will continue to thrive.
As part of its major policies, the Managing Director emphasized the effectiveness of its instant Visa card issuance to meet customer experience. Going into next year, the Managing Director pledged to roll out major initiatives, including improved mobile banking to enhance its shares.
Mobile banking doesn't do one thing, doesn't do 2 things, 3, 4. It does 14 different activities. It enables you to do so many things that the current ones that you hear on the news, on radio, people advertising. I am sure when we launch, people will drop the advertisements because it will not make sense to be advertising something somebody has already exceeded.
And that's the wrap for business news here on News 360. We'll be back with more news after this. Stay with us.
All right, welcome back to News 360 here on the TV3. Now, to our earlier story about in Parliament, there's Minister for Special Initiatives, Madam Hawa Kumsin, and the minority asking her to resign. She's indicated she's ready to do that, giving some clarifications or her own explanation to that 800,000 cedis website cost. She says is a typographical error. That's supposed to be 80,000 cedis. Even that particular amount, website developers have raised questions about that it should cost far lesser than that 80,000, which is the corrected figure being put out there. Let's go on to Skype now. Dr. Rashid Rahman is Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Dr. Rahmani, thank you very much for your time. Good evening to you. Now, beyond the minister's error, there are many who are questioning Parliament for approving something like this. I mean, could Parliament have done anything different than just approving just anything that comes before them? Hello, sir. Yes. Can you hear me now? Hello, Dr. Rashid Jarman, good evening to you. Okay, so we'll try to get him back on again, but we apologize for that little technical aid, but we're back with some sports news.
Good evening and welcome back to News 360 here. Time for the sports segment. I am Nana Addo. Another Ghanaian will be featured in the United Soccer League in the USA because Phoenix Rising FC have announced the signing of midfielder Solomon Asante for the 2018 season. Asante is leaving Congolese-based TP Mazembe, where he formerly played under current Phoenix Rising head coach Patrice Cataron. Asante will be reunited with former TP Mazembe teammate Gladson Awako. Since Asante joined TP Mazembe in 2013, he helped the club to 3 league titles in 4 seasons, in addition to an African Super Cup title in 2016 and an African Champions League title in 2015. Let's build up to the Clasico now, and Zinedine Zidane has confirmed Real Madrid forwards of Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale are both 100% ready to play in El Clasico against Barcelona on Saturday. Fourth place Real are 11 points behind unbeaten league leaders Barcelona. Ronaldo worked alone earlier this week with a calf knock but trained properly earlier today, while Bale is recovering from a calf problem. But according to Zidane, he is fit. Bale has not played in La Liga since September but featured twice off the bench in the recent Club World Cup, which Real Madrid won. From Spain, we take you to England, where Swansea City are considering former Crystal Palace manager Frank de Boer and ex-West Ham United boss Slaven Bilic as successors to Paul Clement. Clement left on Wednesday with the Swans bottom of the Premier League. Palace sacked former Netherlands defender de Boer in September after 5 games in charge, while Bilic was dismissed by the Hammers in November. Initial bookmakers' favourite was Tony Pulis, but it is understood he is not among Swansea's preferred candidates for the job. Now to the fixtures of games coming up in the English Premier League. There's one game happening tonight, which is Arsenal versus Liverpool. Remember that the second round of the English Premier League has started. It is kicking off from this evening with Arsenal versus Liverpool. On Saturday, Everton will take on Chelsea. Brighton and Hove Albion will be up against Watford. Manchester City will take on Bournemouth with a chance to continue their winning streak in the English Premier League. Southampton will be up against Huddersfield. Those are games to expect, but the other games to look forward to: Stoke City will take on West Bromwich Albion. Swansea City, who are in the market looking for a new coach, will be up against Crystal Palace. West Ham, who are doing quite well recently, will be up against Newcastle United. So this fixture is a fixture between Dede Ayew and Christian Atsu in the English Premier League. Burnley will take on Tottenham Hotspurs, and then Leicester City will be up against Manchester United. Before we wrap up, 11 Russian athletes have been banned from the Olympics for life after committing doping offenses at the 2014 Sochi Winter Games. Silver medal winning luggers Tatiana Ivanova and Albert Demchenko are among those to have been disqualified. The others include bobsliders, speed skaters, and ice hockey players. The ban comes as a result of the International Olympic Committee's investigations into the country's doping scandal. The IOC announced the first Russian bans based on the findings of the 2016 McLaren report on November 1. And that's how we wrap up the sports news here on News 360. My name is Nana Addo. Thanks very much for watching. Always a pleasure serving you, and enjoy the Christmas holidays. Good evening.
Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for us to do some entertainment news. And iconic highlight musician Kojo Antwi says fame alone does not guarantee a secure future. The celebrated star wants musicians to pay particular attention to what they spend their monies on and not blow it on unnecessary things. He has been speaking to Ajwa Amofa Osei. Music maestro Kojo Antwi wants musicians to focus on building a secure future for themselves. The Adiepena composer said the showmanship makes up for just a small percentage of a musician's achievements. He said focusing more on fame will make one lose out on the important things. One more time. He added, there was lots of information and opportunities to tap into. Hence, artists should be smart.
When you get engulfed in just the good times, you lose out on focusing on saving, knowing what to invest to, knowing what shows to play, trying to build your brand that at least you will see growth in what you do. It means you need to do some sowing. That sowing goes into how long you stay all by yourself, putting songs together.
Talking about the industry, Kojo Antwi said there were no properly regulated structures, policies and institutions to back its activities. He added, although it has been a debatable issue for a long time, no attention has been paid to it.
The situation that we are in doesn't give us that luxury. What I mean is that we do not have, there is nothing like old musician. Music gets better. The longer you hear them, the better the music becomes. And you should be seeing Nana Addo, Adofo, that generation having performances. But because we are so limited in terms of venues to perform, a certain age are those getting the gigs. Why? Because we only have one theater. Someone must drive all the way from Ajingano to come to National Theater to see a show. It shouldn't be that way.
About his annual December concert, he explained that he moved it out of the National Theater to a more spacious place in order to be able to interact with his fans. Kojo said the event, which has always been scheduled for December 24, comes off on December 26 this year, explaining it is an ideal time to have family and friends relax and enjoy some soothing music.
Right. On the music man, let's go on to some more Christmas. You see, Christmas in Ghana is never complete without one particular song. That all-time popular Xmas song, 24th by Kechi Kwame up here. The hitmaker of the 23-year-old song has disclosed he built 3 houses out of that mega hit. Obin Kase 24 Fuko Wukuru. Wow, share will live in any obra woman. Obeto polythene bag. Now what they will near me gum. Obeko a crassi. Now what could di bro? Yeah, he spoke to us. All right, take a listen to him.
All too soon, the Xmas fever is all over the place. And talking about Xmas, there are a lot of songs that are going to be getting airplay. But there's this particular song that resonates with Ghanaians. It's been 23 years and so people are jamming to it.
Yeah, if you do a better thing, that thing lasts in the system. legacy.
Yeah.
Yes, I decided to do better things so that even when I'm no more, people will say, wow, that song brought me into limelight.
What do you think over the years you've been able to communicate to Ghanaians with your music?
I said, Obeko, wana Obeko, me say Obeko, adentina unkro, obrano moya di amounti, wana Obeko, utu kwanache, nansu ye wundi tuemu. You've been in somebody's town for so long, and what you are doing there is not helping you. Why don't you go back to your country? Your mom is there, your dad is still alive. Even if you don't have money to buy a Ecolak, just buy 24 polythene bag and go to your village. People will help you. Don't stay there and die. I've been meeting so many people in abroad, and they said, hey, Kwame, with 24 for no, nami wa Nigeria, and I didn't buy you, nami wa Cote d'Ivoire. You know, that song, that track did very well. So I always thank God that He has given me something that even when I'm no more, every 24th, you'll remember KHD.
At a point, that polythene bag, people started calling it 24th.
Even up till now, they still call it 24th. I made mention, say, Obeto polythene bag, and I would do Obeko grass in our Kodibrunya. I think that is the reason why they call it 24th, because I remember 2nd January, that was 1995. It was in the news, and there was a lady saying that, oh, and you ya told me polythene bag pa, oh, they say me polythene bag crano, obiaba or see ope 24th, a creative job. Some people, yeah, in the system, so glory be to God. Those days, they used to buy cassettes, but nowadays they don't buy it. Even CD, they don't buy it. I quite remember when 24th came out, we sold about 47,500 cassettes in a day. Yes.
In a day?
A day.
What did that breakthrough song give you looking back?
I had so many things in that music, 24th. I had about 3 houses. The big house that I'm living in right now in Accra here, it's because of 24th. Couple of land, cars, through 24th that I've got all these things.
Definitely a song that definitely impacted lives back in the day. Now let's do some international news, and Israel's embassy in Ghana has expressed disappointment with the West African state's decision to back a UN resolution condemning the U.S.'s recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The statement said that Israel regrets the vote and that they hope that such mistakes will not be repeated by Ghana in subsequent motions. An overwhelming 128 countries voted for the resolution that effectively called on the U.S. President Donald Trump's administration to withdraw its recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And that's all for News 360 tonight. My name is Solis Rose Corte.
And my name is Alfred Okanse. Thank you for spending your 60 minutes with us here on News 360. On behalf of the rest of the team, have a great weekend.